Okay, so where we finished off before the break is that we've gone through and we've worked with the purchase orders and also created new stock as well, which is basically a purchase order to put your inventory directly into your stock levels. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this one called stock levels. Now what this does, it actually goes in and takes a look at what you currently have in stock within any given warehouse. So you'll see within here I can isolate on a specific warehouse, or I can just choose all warehouses and gives me my grand total of all of these different things. Along with this as well, you can specify things down by report category as well. So if you are breaking down your inventory by, let's say, liquor related versus food related stock items, then you can kind of do that as well. Over to the right of that, we also have some calculations that it will provide in terms of your general cost per unit, the value of your inventory as well, and your total inventory value, where it tallies all of that up. And this is where that calculation of the weighted average or the last cost comes into effect. It can be very useful when taking a look at that. Physical counts. Okay, so I've gone into stock levels. I've taken a look and it says I have 5 crates of eggs in there, totaling 1,440 eggs in total. And on there, you know, I'm not too sure if that's really accurate or not. It's about time that I actually did a physical count. So what I can do then is I can actually go into the house, the warehouse, and do a physical count on this. Now, when it comes to doing physical counts for inventory, there's a few things that are available to you here. First of all, physical counts. I go into this, and let's just take a look at this screen for a moment. So it shows me the item in here, for example, egg in my warehouse. And in here I've got these fields for crate, carton, and egg. And then what I can do here is actually I can fill in those numbers of what I'm actually counting in this. And from there, when I'm finished all this, I can select on process variance. And what this will do then is compare that to what the system has calculated is in there. Now, if I come to this area here that says show system and click on that, it will now show me what's in there versus what I'm counting. Okay, so I can actually stretch this out a little bit to help out. And so in this, for my egg, it shows right now 5 crates, no cartons, no eggs, no individual eggs. And in here, I'm actually going to put in my variance here so I can take a look at side by side. I'm going to say there's 4 crates and 1 carton and 3 eggs. Okay, so I have a discrepancy of 261 eggs that has suddenly disappeared on the system, and for whatever reason I can look it up, or I can write it off, or I can do a recount, or whatever the case. But when you are going through and doing these physical counts, this is where you go about putting in that information. And at this point, I can just kind of save where it is without processing the difference, and I can do another counter or whatever. Or I can just say process variance, and from this point, it will then update the levels that I have within there to tell me that I no longer have 5 crates, I've got 4 crates and a whole bunch of eggs on top of that. And so that's how it goes about doing all of this information, is when you want to get an accurate count in terms of what you've got within your stock levels. Now, having done that now, if I go into my stock levels, it now shows that I have 4 crates, 1 carton, and 3 eggs currently in stock. Okay, so I have an accurate count on that. How do you go about doing the physical count itself? Well, there's a couple things you can do within the system. One thing, actually I'm not going to jump out to do it, but there's actually a stock take report that you can generate within Report Viewer and also within Data Miner as well, which are the 2 reporting systems. And I'll show you, when we get to reports in another session. But anyway, there's a report that's in there that basically will give you a list of all of the different stock items that reside within that warehouse. And from there, what you can do is just print it off, and it'll have all the columns for things such as the crate, the unit, the container, and the package. You'll have the 3 columns for that. And you just snap it onto a clipboard, you walk in, and you just fill in the gaps on that. So the system will allow you to do that. Also, within here as well, when you take a look at your stock levels, you notice here we've got move up and down. When you generate that report, it will pull from this listing as it shows up within here. Now, what you can do is actually you can modify the location of any of these items within this list. So, for example, I may want my eggs further down the list where I've actually they show up if I was to start at the front of the warehouse and work my way to the back, or from the left and work my way to the right. So I may have, for example, all my dry goods, and then I've got all my wet goods, and then I've got all my cold goods, and whatever. And you can group them all that way and have them in the list like this, so that you're not scattering all over the list when you print it out. You can actually start at the left, work to the right, and start at the top of your list and work your way down, and the two match up. So that's important to know as well. Also, another thing you can do is there's actually a front-end application that you can run for doing the physical count as well, rather than have to do it from the back within here and use a manual entry process. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump out of this for a moment and exit out of here and take a look. I've got this shortcut that I've actually created on my desktop, and you can have this available on a station, and actually you can set it up on a PDA as well. And I'm just going to show you the shortcut for this. It's called pixelinventorycounts.exe, residing within the Pixel POS folder. What does this thing do? Well, if we run it, first of all, it will ask if you want to pause your inventory depletion, because you're going to go in and do a physical count on it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to say yes to this, so we'll just say okay. Now, from here, what it will do is it will bring up that list of all the stuff that resides within the warehouse. As you can see within here, I've got my warehouse general, and on this I can isolate as far as which particular warehouse I want to be on. I can also isolate on specific report categories and on weighted items only, which is really great for liquor, because that means you can use this application within the front end for liquor weighing. You can just select on that, and you'll have all your items in here for that. But let's go all warehouses. Oh, select warehouse general. All right, where did I put it? I just lost my thing. Oh, I know what I'm doing here. All items. All warehouses. There we go. Okay, so getting back to this, I should have deviated on that. So in this, I've got my egg that's showing up in the general warehouse, and I'm going to actually go in and do a physical count on it. So in this case, then, I can actually do it right from the screen here. And you'll see within this, I can resume depletion. So it's pause depletion. I can resume it right from the screen, process the variance. So I put in my numbers for these things, and then I can do that. To actually put in the numbers themselves, you use enter counts. So you select on the given item, and then enter counts. And on this, it comes up with a whole screen interface for this. And on this, then I can say, for example, I've got 4 crates and 1 carton and 5 eggs. Okay, and so then I've got all my information in here. And you can use these as well for using the keypads, because this is designed for touch screen as well, in case you're not working with a keyboard like I am. And then from there, after putting in all this information, I can click on the next item, because there may be multiple items within that warehouse, or just OK. And then I've got my thing in there, and it shows my variance of 2 eggs in this case. And then having done that, then process variance. Right, sure, yes. Okay, it's now going in. It's doing a new stock take. And done. So now that's all been updated. So this is a nice user interface that you can actually apply, and you can put this directly into the front end. Remember how to do that? You go into the functions, the function menu manager. That's within the administrator pull-down menu, and you can actually apply this as an external program into the front end and put it in maybe within the manager function menu or something. All right, coming back into back office. Here, just to kind of identify what I was trying to trip over my tongue with was POS function setup. And so within here, you can go into this, and maybe within the manager function menu, for example, I can go into this, and new function, and then from here, run program, and then you can browse for that program and just put it in there. And it'll be available within the front end. All right, coming back into inventory. All right, so within here now, we've gone in and done a physical count. So now let's go into transfers. Transfers where you're transferring from one warehouse to another. So in here, I can say, for example, transfer from my bar warehouse to my general warehouse. And in, well, actually, I don't know if I got anything in here. Probably not. Maybe I should try it the other way around. Okay. So in here, I'm going to transfer some eggs from one warehouse to another. So on this, I'll select on that. How many crates? I'll say on here, maybe 1. All right, so I'm going to transfer 1 crate of eggs from this warehouse to that warehouse. All right, and having done that, I can now save the transfer. Here, let's just preview the transfer as well. You'll see that it looks much more like a purchase order, and within here, it just identifies that this is a warehouse transfer and what it is I'm transferring from this warehouse to that warehouse. Process and inventory. If I say no, then it will wait, and I can do that later on, or I can say yes and do it now. Actually, I'll say no. I'm going to cancel. No, I don't want to cancel. Maybe I do want to. No, I didn't take it because I didn't do that right. All right, you can pretty well figure out what I'm doing here, though. There we go. And then from there, it will actually pick it up and actually do it. I haven't set it up to do any of that stuff. All right, the next thing we have is stock supplier setup. So within here, as I mentioned, you select on this, and you're brought into the stock supplier setup exactly the same as what it is within the back office. It's just that you can run it within here. The next one is auto purchase order. So by selecting on this, we're presented with an automated purchase order. So the system will actually automatically generate this thing on the desired date. First of all, it will this one it will apply to, and then you got to select on which particular warehouse you want it to apply to. The shipping date. Okay, so I want this automated purchase order for generating, let's say, as of today, or you can put in a future date for that. Now, along with this, we have include forecast up to the shipping date. So let's say, for example, in here, I may, if I'm on an average losing maybe, let's say, 100 eggs a day, and the shipping date is 3 days away, then the system will calculate out and say, okay, so it's estimated that you're going to lose another 300 eggs per day between now and then. And so it will actually include that into its forecast for that. Also within here as well, future orders. So in this, because I got 200 chicken salad sandwiches, I may have also need to take into account all of the ingredients for the mayonnaise and the chicken breasts for that order as well. I have some future orders that are outstanding in the system. And so in that case, I can also identify that I want them incorporated into this calculation as well. Down here, it just tells you how it works, how the whole thing calculates out all that information. And then just select on OK. Are you sure? Yes. Include forecast up to that date? Yes. In future orders? Yes. And current stock are OK. No purchase orders created. OK. So because I don't have anything going on right now. And I'm okay with my one supply of eggs. So if I had put in stock items of other things and so on, then it would have taken that into account where, hey, you're low in chicken breasts, you're low in mayonnaise, but I haven't put any of that into the system. The next thing over is recipe setup. Okay, now as I pointed out briefly within here, this basically does the same thing as what's within product setup, where you've got the recipe tab in there, and you can apply recipe items to your inventory on this. The nice thing about this one, though, is it's a little more comprehensive. You select on, for example, chicken, and within here, I can then identify, okay, I want chicken breast and 1 piece. And from here, it will calculate out your cost per unit based on your orders and so on like that. I haven't completed all that process yet. But in here, it'll come up with all that stuff. And you can say within there, and you can just kind of toggle around between all these different ones to come up with these different things. Add spillage and waste. Now this is for a situation where, for example, I've dropped some eggs, for example. So I'm going to select on this, and I'm going to say Warehouse General. Okay, inventory item was egg, and in here, quantity, I spilled 4 eggs. Scott is clumsy. Okay, so within here, I put in this entry into the system, and by selecting on OK, then what it's done, it's actually taken that out of my inventory and it's written it off to spillage and waste. And if I was to generate a spillage and waste report, that would be showing up within there. Add batch recipe. Okay, remember Scott's potato salad, so in this, I haven't really done much as far as the potato salad, but in here I've got my potato salad. I'm going to make, enter batch quantity, I'll say 2 batches, okay, which might be like 6 bowls or something like that. And Scott makes pea salad. And there we go. And once again, it's actually, this is how you go about updating your inventory for that. So what that process does, it actually pulls out those raw ingredients from your inventory and then puts in place of it, the batches of the potato salad added into your inventory. Right? So that's basically inventory in a nutshell. Now, along with this, the question may come up, well, do you do LIFO and FIFO, and can we integrate with other things and so on like that? Okay, do we do LIFO, FIFO? No, we do not. Do we integrate with other things? Yes, we can actually interface with other inventory systems, some higher-end systems that do a lot more than what we do. Just one off the top of my head is FoodTrack, for example. I know we have an interface with that. If you check the certified device list within the MyPower website, you'll actually get a much better idea in terms of what systems we interface with regards to inventory and what all is required for that as well. Also, do we interface with liquor dispensing systems? Yes, we do. Do we interface with liquor weighing systems? Yes, we do as well. So all of those things can be taken into account with regards to inventory as well. No, that's pretty well it. So in terms of inventory, it's a pretty basic system. It's just tedious. That's all in terms of being able to manage things. But all inventory systems are tedious. We are also in the process of doing some upgrading to interface with things such as eSysco, for example, for automated, like an EDI application for automated purchase ordering and so on like that over the internet, as opposed to doing it all kind of in a manual process. We're not completed with that right now, but that's one of our projects that's currently in the go, is automating this a little more for web-based ordering and so on like that. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for what we've got. Now, what I'm going to do at this point here, we're finished with inventory.